Why timing doesn't build wealth, but this kind of compounding does. Everyone wants to time the market. Buy low, sell high. Get in early. Ride the wave. Exit at the peak. It sounds smart, like the holy grail of building wealth. But here's the hard truth: timing doesn't build real wealth. What actually builds wealth isn't prediction, it's discipline. Not speculation, but compounding, a very specific kind of compounding most people never truly understand. Let's break it down. Because the moment you stop chasing timing and start mastering this, your wealth will never be the same. 1. The myth of perfect timing. The idea of perfect timing seduces everyone. We all want to be the person who bought Bitcoin at $1, or Amazon in the 90s, or Apple before the iPhone. But here's what they don't show you: how many people panic sold during a crash, how long they held through boring, flat years, how many missed out trying to wait for the perfect entry. Timing the market requires you to be right twice, when you buy and when you sell. That's like flipping heads twice in a row, with your life savings on the line. Even professional investors, people with degrees, data, and decades of experience, struggle to time the market consistently. And here's what decades of research shows: missing just a few of the best days in the market can destroy your returns. That's not wealth building. That's gambling. 2. Real wealth comes from staying invested, not timing entry. Here's what wealthy people actually do differently. They don't obsess over when to buy. They obsess over how long they stay invested. The magic happens not in the act of buying low, but in letting time do the heavy lifting. Take this example. Two people invest $10,000 in the S&P 500. Investor A tries to time the market and misses the 10 best days over 20 years. Investor B just buys and holds. Investor A's returns get cut nearly in half. Why? Because the best days in the market often follow the worst ones. If you sit out during the crash, you miss the rebound. If you pull out during fear, you miss the feast that follows. In wealth building, missing out is more dangerous than being early. 3. Compound growth. The real game changer. Now let's talk about what really builds wealth: compounding. But not just the math formula you learned in school. We're talking about long-term, exponential compounding. Growth that doesn't just add, it multiplies. Here's the catch: compounding doesn't feel magical at first. In year 1, you might see tiny returns. In year 5, it's still underwhelming. But in year 10, 15, 20, the curve bends, and suddenly, things explode. This is why most people quit too early. They want fast returns. But real wealth is backloaded. The biggest gains come to those who wait. The longer you leave your investments untouched, the more time they have to grow on top of growth. 4. The kind of compounding that the wealthy use. Here's the truth: compounding isn't just for money. Wealthy people compound 3 key things. A. Capital. Every dollar reinvested is a soldier in the army. They don't spend the profits, they reinvest them. Dividends, business profits, rental income, it all goes back into the machine. They understand that the first use of money isn't to reward yourself, it's to empower your future self. B. Skills. Every year, they build layers of skills. Writing, speaking, leadership, deal-making, negotiation. Skills stack. A $100 skill today turns into a $10,000 decision later. Knowledge compounds. That's why the rich keep learning long after school is done. Books, mentors, courses, they're compounding mental capital. C. Networks. This is the most underrated form of compounding. Wealthy people build networks early. Not for clout, but for access, trust, and deal flow. They nurture relationships for years, until one call changes everything. A joint venture. A new client. A backdoor opportunity no one else sees. Your net worth isn't just what's in your account. It's who picks up when you call. 5. Compound habits, the silent engine behind wealth. There's another kind of compounding no one talks about: habits. Daily discipline. Smart decisions. Tiny actions that don't look like much, until they snowball. Saving $10 a day? Doesn't feel powerful. Doing it for 10 years? That's thousands invested and thousands more in return. Reading 10 pages a day? not life-changing. Reading 300 books over 10 years? That's mental warfare. The habits that don't seem urgent today are the ones that will build, or break, your future. Small hinges swing big doors. 6. Why patience outperforms prediction. The modern world rewards urgency. Hot tips. Quick flips, overnight wins. But wealth doesn't play by TikTok timelines. It plays by generational timelines. That's why the richest families aren't worried about next quarter. They're focused on the next decade. They understand that the most important skill in compounding isn't strategy, it's patience. The discipline to stay invested. The humility to keep learning. The maturity to delay gratification. The poor chase timing. The wealthy trust time. 7. Consistency, genius. You don't need to be a genius to build wealth. You don't need to predict the next crypto boom or tech IPO. You need a consistent savings plan, a long-term investment strategy, a system that works when you're asleep. That's how average people become millionaires. It's not by finding the next Tesla. It's by investing in boring index funds every month for 20 years. It's by reinvesting every dollar instead of spending it. It's by choosing delayed rewards over instant dopamine. Wealth isn't built in a weekend. It's built in quiet decisions, repeated relentlessly over time. Conclusion. The wealth curve isn't linear, it's exponential. The mistake most people make is expecting linear growth. Put in $1,000, get $1,100 next year. That's not wealth. Wealth is when $1,000 becomes $2,000, then $4,000, then $8,000, faster and faster. But here's the key, it only happens if you stay in the game. No panic selling. No starting over. No chasing shortcuts. Forget perfect timing. Forget the next big trend. Instead, master this formula. Discipline plus time plus reinvestment equals real wealth, because wealth isn't about how early you start, it's about how long you stick with it. If you've been chasing timing and missing the real game, now you know. It's not about catching the wave, it's about staying in the water. Hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's trying to get rich quick, and help them get rich smart.